From translation, RSV Revised Standard Version. This 31 day of the year. Today we are reading passages Exodus 39 to 40. Exodus chapter 39, verses 1 to 43. And of the blue and purple and scarlet stuff, they made the garments of ministration for ministering in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he made the ephod of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet stuff, and fine twined linen. And they beat out the gold into thin plates, and cut threads of it into the blue and the purple and the scarlet stuff, and into the fine linen. And they made for the ephod shoulder pieces joined to it at the two ends, and it was joined together. And the skillfully woven band upon it to gird it on with was of the same materials and workmanship, of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet stuff, and fine twined linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they set onyx stones, enclosed in settings of gold, engraved with the names of the sons of Israel, as there are 12 of them, 6 of their names on the one stone, and the remaining 6 names on the other stone, in the order of their birth. And they made the breastpiece in the work of a curiously woven piece, like the work of the ephod, of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet stuff, and fine twined linen. It was square. They made the breastpiece double, a span its length and a span its breadth. And they set in it 4 rows of stones. A row of sardius, topaz, and carbuncle was the first row, and the second row an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst, and the fourth row a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in settings of gold in their mountings. And the stones were according to the names of the sons of Israel, 12, corresponding to their names, engraved with signets, each according to his name, for the 12 tribes. And they made for the breastpiece twisted chains like cords of pure gold. And they made 2 settings of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastpiece. And they put the 2 twisted chains of gold in the 2 rings at the ends of the breastpiece. And the 2 ends of the 2 twisted chains they put on the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod, in the front. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastpiece, on its inside edge next to the ephod. And they made 2 other rings of gold, and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod in the front, below its coupling, above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they bound the breastpiece by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it might be upon the skillfully woven band of the ephod, and that the breastpiece might not be loosed from the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they made the robe of the ephod of woven work, all of blue. And the opening of the robe in it was like the opening of a coat of mail, with a binding round about the opening, that it might not be torn. And they made on the skirts of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet stuff, and twined linen, and they made bells of pure gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates round about on the skirts of the robe, between the pomegranates. A bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, round about on the skirts of the robe, to minister in, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they made the tunics of fine linen, of woven work, for Aaron and his sons. And the turban of fine linen, and the ornamental turbans of fine linen, and the linen breeches of fine twined linen, and the sash of fine twined linen, and coloured embroidery, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And the girdle of blue and purple and scarlet stuff and fine twined linen, with embroidery, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote on it an inscription, like the engraving of a signet, holy to the Lord. And they tied to it a lace of blue, to fasten it on the turban above, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting was finished, and the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses. So they did, and they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent and all its furnishings, its clasps, its frames, its bars, its pillars, and its bases, and the covering of tanned ram skins, and the covering of goat skins, and the veil of the screen. The ark of the testimony, and its poles, and the mercy seat, the table, all its utensils, and the bread of the presence, the lampstand of pure gold, and its lamps, with the lamps in order, and all its utensils, and the oil for the light, and the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the fragrant incense, and the screen for the entrance of the tent, the bronze altar, and its grating of bronze, its poles, and all its utensils, the laver and its base, the hangings of the court, its pillars and its bases, and the screen for the gate of the court, its cords and its pegs, and all the utensils for the service of the tabernacle, for the tent of meeting. The finely worked garments for ministering in the holy place, and the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his sons, for their service as priests, according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so the people of Israel had all done. And Moses saw all the work, and behold, they had done it, as the Lord had commanded, so had they done it, and Moses blessed them. Exodus chapter 40, verses 1 to 38. The Lord said to Moses, On the first day of the first month you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and you shall place the ark of the testimony in it, and you shall screen the ark with the veil. And you shall bring in the table, and set its arrangement in order, and you shall bring in the lampstand, and set up its lamps. And you shall put the golden altar for incense before the ark of the testimony, and set up the screen for the door. And you shall place the altar of burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. And you shall set up the laver between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. And you shall set up the court round about, and hang up the screen for the gate of the court. And you shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in it, and consecrate it and all its furniture. And it shall become holy. You shall also anoint the altar of burnt offering and all its utensils, and consecrate the altar, and the altar shall become most holy. You shall also anoint the laver and its base, and consecrate it. You shall also Aaron and his sons, and consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests. And you shall make them sacred garments for Aaron your brother, and his sons shall serve me as priests. You shall make for them linen breeches to cover their naked flesh. They shall reach from the loins even to the thighs. And you shall gird Aaron and his sons with girdles, and bind on their caps. And they shall have the priesthood by a perpetual statute. And you shall invest Aaron with the holy garments, and anoint him and consecrate him, that he may serve me as priest. You shall consecrate his sons and invest them with the priesthood, so their anointing shall be to a priesthood perpetual throughout their generations. Moses did so, according to all that the Lord commanded him, so he did. And in the first month in the second year, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was erected. Moses erected the tabernacle. He laid its bases and set up its frames, and put in its bars, and raised up its pillars. And he spread the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent over it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he took the testimony and put it into the ark, and put the poles on the ark, and set the mercy seat upon the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, and set up the veil of the screen, and screened the ark of the testimony, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the table in the tent of meeting, on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the veil, and set the arrangement upon it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the lampstand in the tent of meeting, opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle. And he set up the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the golden altar in the tent of meeting before the veil, and he burned incense upon it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he set up the screen for the door of the tabernacle. And he set the altar of burnt offering at the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and offered upon it the burnt offering and the cereal offering, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he set the laver between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it for washing. So Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet from it. When they went into the tent of meeting, and when they approached the altar, they washed, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he erected the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the screen of the gate of the court. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting, because the cloud abode upon it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And whenever the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the people of Israel went onward on their journey. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not journey till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was in it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys.